Drawing in Animate is a little bit different from drawing in either Photoshop or Illustrator. You select what mode you're going to be drawing in, whether you're drawing in merge drawing mode or object drawing mode, and that's going to affect how everything gets handled. Merge drawing mode is going to be a little bit like it was working with the shape builder in Illustrator. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Now I've picked up the oval and I'm going to put an oval in here. I've got a 19-point stroke on it, so you're going to very easily see the stroke, and I'm going to just draw a circle. Well, an oval, an ellipse. Okay, fine. So I have my ellipse, and I want to show you what happens when I draw a second ellipse. Okay, I can overlap these, but if I go to move these, I'm picking up the interior and the stroke. The fill and the stroke are now different, and where items overlap has caused a break. I can now pick up and move these items separately. If I pick it up and select it where it's got the little cross hatching, it becomes an object in and of itself. If I just grab it, it becomes rubber bandish. So it's just going to depend on what I'm drawing. If let me click off to deselect, if I change my drawing mode and I do an object drawing mode, which is this item here selected, I can now draw, and if I go to select the item, hey, this is just like it was in Illustrator. I've got my drawing that I can move around. I can reshape it by picking up the direct select tool and moving the anchor points. Two different methods of drawing. One is very familiar, the other one is very different. Make sure you've read through pages 29 and 30 before you proceed so that you get a little better understanding of this. We're ready to do some drawing now. Pick up your line tool. We've used a line tool before. It's all going to work like we've done. At the bottom of your tool panel, make sure that the object drawing mode is not selected, because we want to be working in object drawing mode so that we're working with items that can be picked up and moved like they would have been in Illustrator. So zoom in onto the window. Let's get all of the window into the stage area, and we're going to select a bright color. You can click on the fill and stroke. We are not going to have a fill, but we do want to have a stroke. They're using a bright green. I'm going to go ahead with that. Make sure over here object drawing mode is turned off, and we have a 2-point stroke. We would like the caps to be round, and we want joining to be round as well. You can select whatever color you would like, but I'm going to use the green. Check another thing. Go up to View, Snapping, and make sure that Snap to Objects is turned on. If it's already checked, just click off to the side to close the panel. We're now going to draw in the window. Select your window layer, and we're going to start to draw. We're going to click in the upper left corner of the window and drag down to the first corner. Try not to move the mouse too much, and click again and drag down to the next corner. We have to set the corners by releasing the mouse. It's a little bit different. So click again and drag over to create the bottom of the window, and click and drag one more time to create the window. Now it's not exactly the right shape, but because of the drawing mode that we used, we can go up and grab the selection tool And as soon as you hover over that line, you're going to be able to bend it. So click and drag to create that bend to make the window, and click and drag again to create a slight bend in that lower left section of the window. And this is a really good place to save. What we're working on next should be very familiar with you. We're going to be picking up the pen tool. We should have all the properties carried over, the same color, no fill, we've got the same 2-point stroke, and everything else rounded, and everything should be exactly like we were. We're going to select the body layer and make sure that your object drawing this time is selected. We want to be drawing, make sure it's highlighted. We didn't have that selected last time. Now it needs to be selected because we are going to work on the outline of the vehicle. So make sure you're zoomed into the vehicle. We're going to start on the spoiler in the back and click to create your first anchor point. We're going to work around the car, and if you remember your drawing tools, you're going to click and drag with the pen tool to create the curve that you want. Don't worry about how close you're going to be on this. Just make sure you're setting your Bezier curves like you're supposed to be, and work your way around the vehicle. On this one, we're going to get rid of that extra curve there, so click on that anchor point to delete that. Then when you come down close to the bumper, you'll be able to put a curve back in. Again, this isn't going to be 100% stellar. Work around the corners, drag. This is going to go way off, but we will indeed fix that. Just make sure that you're dragging and giving yourself some anchor points here, and we'll tighten this up. Don't worry about the wheel. The wheel will be placed over the top of the car body, so we're not going to deal with that. Just get yourself some nice line drawing around the vehicle to get started. Let's go ahead and zoom into the front bumper. Oh, come on. There we go. Nope, maybe not that quite that far. And I'm going to get the sub-selection or direct select tool in the tools panel. And if I click on the green line over the top of the hood to select it, I'll be able to see my anchor points, and if I click on the anchor point, I'll be able to make adjustments to it. Now, it might have to zoom out a little bit or to move things around so that I can find, there we go. There, I need to find my handle on that anchor point and bring it back in. Come on. Here we go. And I'm wobbling that other one all over the place. There. You can add anchor points as you need. So all we need to do is pick up and add an anchor point here and go back and pick up the sub-select tool. Click that and make it the adjustments that you need. Pick up and drag your anchor points. Line everything up as you should and work your way around the vehicle. Make whatever adjustments you feel are necessary, and then once you've got the shape, click the dot under the eye icon for the sketch and take a look at your sketch and see what you think of it. Click on the X to show the sketch again and save your file. Next, we're going to use destructive editing to create some shapes. When we work on a merge drawing shape, what we just did, we can use the selection tool to select specific pieces of the object. This is unique to Animate. It's kind of like what we did in Illustrator, but it's a little bit different. Now, we are still on the body layer, and we are going to double click any line of this layer. Let me use my selection tool, and that's going to enter the drawing object. It's kind of like going into the isolation mode in Illustrator. We are still working with our drawing mode turned on, so we're going to pick up the line tool. That is still selected, and we're going to draw a line. Let me zoom in just a little bit to create the door. We're going to cross over the door, top point down to the bottom point, and we're going to pick up our selection tool and we're going to make that lovely curve that's in the door. I think I need to move the bottom over just a little bit there. That matches the drawing pretty good. Now, I'm clicking the line one more time to select it, and then I'm going to choose Modify, Break Apart, and that's going to create segments out of this line where it crosses other lines. Click on that little bit of a line above the car to select it. That's going to put that section in that little crosshatch pattern. We can now press Shift and click the line below. And you see we get that little L-shaped thing under the cursor. And now we're going to simply delete those two items. Now you're going to do the same thing on the front of the car. So we're going to pick up the line. We're going to draw a line going across here. Pick up the selection tool. Drag that forward. I'm going to again move this back because I don't like the way that my curve has come out. I'm going to move that a little bit around there just to make that follow the drawing a little bit more. I am now going to pick up the top. I need to go in and modify and select Break Apart. Click off, click back on to select the top, hold my Shift key down, select the bottom, click on Delete, and I have that done. On my edit bar, I am going to select Scene 1. This is going to return me to the main stage. Next, using my selection tool, I'm now going to pick up that front line and hold down my Shift key, pick up the back line. I am going to cut those out, and I'm going to go to my door layer, and I am going to paste in place. Good place to save.